Good morning everyone and welcome to Sugar and Crumbs with Nifty Nozzles at 11:30. My name is Tracy Mann from Tracy Mann Cakes and I am here this morning to show you how to do some painting on chocolate. And you may have noticed there might be something else up next to me, and that is my brand new Christmas cake course that was launched yesterday. So I have got with me the cake sat next to me, so I will show you that in a minute and talk you through some of the other bits and pieces that I have got to show you. Good morning to everybody that's now joining us. I can see a few people coming up. This week on Sugar and Crumbs, I decided that I personally was going to do a pink and white Christmas. So that was what my theme was this week, pink and white. And if you joined me on Tuesday, you will have seen that I did a pink and white Christmas tree, which I made out of ruby chocolate and also out of some of the buttercream, which we turned white. And we used that to pipe some snow effect on the top. I've got the cake behind me. I will get it in just a second. If you do miss out on any of the demonstrations, then do please go through to back into Sugar and Crumbs in this page. Go back and have a look at some of the videos. There are a huge number of lives that go on this channel every single week, and you are more than welcome to go back and watch any of them. You don't always have to watch live. Some people are unavailable or at work or whatever it is, so don't feel that you miss out, because you can always go back and watch them anyway. So Tuesday night's live was the Christmas tree. Let me just get that. Whoop, here it is. So this was Tuesday night. So if you did miss out on this one and you'd like to know how it was done, then do go back on Sugar and Crumbs. It was on Tuesday evening this week, and you'll see it's called pink and white Christmas tree or something. I don't know what I wrote. Something like that. You'll find it. It's in there somewhere. Anyway, this cake was shown from start to finish on Tuesday evening. So if you do want to go back and watch that, then the live is available. So just pop back in there and have a look. So we're going to be doing more pink and white shortly. Yes, please don't forget to like and share. Thank you, Pauline, because I always forget and I have to remind everyone, don't forget to like and share. So thank you very much for that. So yesterday we launched the brand new Christmas Bauble class, which is this one here, which is the online cake painting class, and it's on offer until Monday. So you have until Monday to pick this class up, which is online, pre-recorded, step by step, for £15. It's going to be £25 after Monday, so you've got until Monday to do it. I'm going to give you a little tour around it. I've got it on a turntable because it goes all the way round. So here we go. So this is the cake going round. I have done a little video on it, which is on YouTube. So if you want to watch that, you can. But I've got a rotating turntable. You see, it's very flash. This is my manual turntable because I couldn't get the lead to go all the way round. Otherwise, I'd be leaning over it. So this is the new Bauble cake class that is live now to book on my website. And this is a step-by-step painting class on a cake. I went for the baubles because I thought, do you know what? They're really lovely, really festive and very pretty. So £15, lesson is now available, will be £15 until Monday, and then it will revert back to what it will be for the rest of the year, which is £25. So if you are interested in booking this class for £15, you do need to go to the website before Monday to get it all done. But it is lovely, isn't it? I think also as well, it has a huge amount of possibility. So although I've done it in a white, blue, sort of silver type theme, you can change the bauble colours, you can do all sorts of things, luster colours. It's just huge amounts you can do with this. So once you've actually learned how to do it, then the world's your oyster with this one a little bit. You can go for it and just watch more and more and more and work out what you can do with this. And it is really, really pretty, but you can change all the colours. It's a bit like the old Christmas tree discussion that I had on Tuesday night. You know, everybody's Christmas tree is different. Mine is a disaster, normally, of just my children's efforts 20 years ago, but there we go. This is a little bit more classy perhaps, but you can change it around. You know, you can make the little bits on the top here, you could paint those gold, you could put some little gold touches around there. I did a few on that one there, just added a few there, but I wanted to keep it, for me, blue, white and silver, so that's what I stuck with there. But it has a huge amount of possibility. So if you want to book onto this class, it's available now. It is pre-recorded, it is step by step, it's not difficult. It's just just a really nice way of doing a completely different modern cake. And I thought, you know what, a lot of the cakes are tall now, so let's do some with baubles on. And also something else, if you learn this technique, you can do these baubles on cupcakes, so you can do them really small as well. You also, if your cake was slightly shorter, you could hang the baubles off at a lower point. So it's got loads of possibility of what you can do with this. So cupcakes, and also changing the background. You could do a much darker background if you wanted to, or maybe something like a very rich green colour would look really nice. Say there is loads and loads of possibility with this, but I've done it this way. And blue is my favourite colour, so it has to be blue, and that's what I've gone with. And I think you'll agree it is it's different, and I wanted to do something really different this Christmas. So this is its own project. It's a standalone project. I'm putting my website up now in case anyone wants to pop over and have a look. So it's on its own. It's not connected with any other of my Christmas courses, and there are loads and loads of Christmas courses. So just bear in mind, this one is on its own completely. It's not part of the Christmas cake painting course or the floral painting course. It is completely on its own, and it's £15 until Monday. So there you go, you've got that to do until then. Right, okay, I'm reading comments about my Christmas tree, Nikki. My original humming fibre optic Christmas tree is no longer in existence, so we have to have a real one now, which I'm not very happy about, because I did like my fibre optic one. It did last for a number of years as well. Right, okay, so let's go into cake painting, which is what we're going to be doing this morning, and I'm going to show you how to paint some very, very nice chocolate lollies in my pink and white theme, obviously, because that's the theme we're going for. I should have worn a pink and white dress, really, rather than this floral thing, but anyway, it's still pink and white. That's what we're doing. So I'm going to show you how to, what I've done. Let me get my moulds out so you can see what I've done. Let me change screens. So we have got this mould here, which is the Snowman mould. Is my camera upside down? Yes, it is. Right, I'm just going to turn my camera around. I'm going to put you back on there because I don't want you to feel seasick while I turn my camera around. It's facing the wrong way, otherwise everything I do from this point onwards will be upside down. Right, that's better. There we go. So that's it. We're going to be using this mold this morning. Now I've already pre-made these because when you do a chocolate, I hope you can see this. Yeah, you can see it now if I hold it up like that. When you make a chocolate lolly and you temper the chocolate, now I've done so much tempering on here that I'm sure that if you are unsure what I mean, you can pop back into one of the many videos and have a look. Or you can go to my YouTube channel. There is a very short 2.5-minute video on there on chocolate tempering. And then what I've done is, so I've prepared my chocolate or tempered my chocolate, and I've poured it into my mould, popped my lollipop stick in and popped it into the fridge for approximately 15 to 20 minutes. And then I have taken the chocolate out. So I have ended up with it like this. Now that's lovely. That's very nice. Great. But I just felt that I wanted to paint mine. So of course, that is what I'm going to show you this morning, is how to turn this into a spectacle, something lovely and pretty and great to paint. So this mould is available again on my website if you are interested. If you go into either the Christmas shop or the yes, in the chocolate mould section as well, you'll find it in there. I've got about 15 of them left, I think, so if you do want one, be quick, otherwise they'll be gone. And it'll take me ages to get them back in again. So let's go through the colours that we're going to be using this morning. So this is white Calabao chocolate, and you can see it's not white, it's actually a yellowy colour, and that's really important to remember, because lots of people say, oh yeah, I'll have white chocolate, and then they forget that it isn't actually white. So I'm going to show you something that's white. There you go, there's my kitchen roll, that's white. That's more of a yellowy colour. So you are starting on a different base than doing it on white. So there we go. So that's what we're going to be doing this morning. So we're going to be using cocoa butter, because that is the product that we need to use in order to be able to paint onto chocolate. You can't do it with anything else. If you do it with gel colours or pastes or liquids, it will just come straight off. So you do need to do it with cocoa butter, because that fixes it to the product rather than using anything else. So let's get this started. So for those of you that have not seen this before, this is a chrome food warmer. They are available on Amazon. If you go onto Amazon and put in the words chrome food warmer, you'll see them come up. And all it is basically a metal stand with a tea light in the middle. Actually, I've got that. I hope this, don't laugh, but I hope this candle's going to behave itself, because this one yesterday kept going on and off, on and off. It was driving me crazy, so you better behave. Then on top of that, there is a metal paint palette. So what we're trying to do is create some heat so that the cocoa butter, which is a solid product, remains liquid. So then when it starts to cool down, it will set, and that's what fixes to the chocolate there. So that's what we're looking at there. So I'm just going to swap that one over for this one. Hold on, I'm mucking about here now. Right, so that one's what we're going to be using. Okay, now, so what we're going to do is we are going to put some of the cocoa butter onto the metal paint palette. Now, if you don't have a metal paint palette or a chrome food warmer, you can just use a glass bowl with some boiling water in it, or you can use with a china plate over the top. As long as it's not your best china, that will be fine. You won't need huge amounts of cocoa butter. It comes in little bags, 100-gram bags, and it lasts ages. So you will find it will take you quite a long time to go through the amount of cocoa butter that so 100-gram bags last ages. So the colours for this particular project that I'm going to be doing is white. Gosh, I'm running out of white here. It's the one I go through the most, so I might have to go and rummage for some more in a minute. So I've got white, I have got a little bit of black. This is the one that always goes absolutely everywhere every time I go live, no matter what I do. I don't need much anyway, just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to keep it over there. So I mean, it goes everywhere. A little bit of brown, just standard brown colour. It's called brown, that'll do, that's fine. And I've got a colour here called Iced Pink Sorbet. Now this is a luster colour. I really like it. It's a really lovely candy pink colour. But if you don't have this, a dusky pink colour is just as good. So anything pink will be fine. I'm a particular fan of this one. So that's what I'm going to use. And just try it again, not to spill it absolutely everywhere. There we go. All right. Let's put that lid back. I did leave the lid of one of these off the other day, and boy did I regret it. It went everywhere. So I'm also going to need some paintbrushes. So I have got here today with me, mine are numbered. I've got 0, 1 and 3, which are numbered here on my, there we go, 0, 1 and 3. Those are the brushes today. Fine detail, a little bit more detail, and then covering a bigger surface area, which is number 3, which is normally the brush I use for dry brushing. You can use brush 2 as well if you want to do that. If you are in possession of these, brush 2 is just as fine as well. I've also got a scriber on me today, and I'm going to show you what I do with that later on. So that's something else you're going to need as well. If you don't have one, you can use a cocktail stick. That would do. Anything that's just a little bit sharp is fine, so you can use anything like that, and also some paper towel for when I end up throwing it all over the place and cleaning my brushes, clearly. Right, so let's start at the beginning. I'm going to pull my camera down just a little bit so you can see. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit nearer for you. There we go. Wonderful. Right, okay, so I'm going to start with the main bulk of the cushion. I'll tell you what I'm going to do as well. I'm going to pop this on there. You have to see it a bit better. There we go. I'm going to pop that on the back of a cake board. So I'm going to take my paintbrush number 3 and just dip it into the cocoa butter, pick up some of this Ice Pink Sorbet, and just mix the colour. So I'm not going to add any, well, I might add a tiny bit of white, little bit of white, but I'd like the colour to be quite strong with this because I want to create some variation. And the best way to do that is to add some white in some parts, but I'm going to stick with this as my main colour to start with. So this is a luster colour, remember, it's not a matte colour. This is called a metal paint palette, if you want to know what that question was there, okay? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to start now. I am going to go in a direction. I'm not just going to sort of do this randomly all over the place. So it is all marked out for you. It's a little bit like painting with numbers. But I'm going to go across like this. I'm going to hold it in place, but I'm going to go straight across rather than sort of going all round in different directions. I'm going to come down the side of there because that, again, it's all marked for you, and across like so. There we go. Now you may or may not, depending on your coverage, need to do a couple of coats, but I find this one does cover quite well, quite quickly. As you can see, it's actually given me quite a nice colour already. So I'm also going to apply the same colour up here on his hat. Now his hat's divided into 3, so we're going to put the darker colour up the top here. I might not breathe for this moment. Just keep my, maybe not talk either. It is all marked out. And the reason I'm using this slightly bigger brush is because I can get some lovely coverage because it's nice and flat, which means I'm getting not too many brush strokes. If I do this with a smaller, brush, I'm going to get lots and lots of streaky lines. So if you do it with a slightly bigger brush with this, you get a much better finish. Okay, so that's that bit done. Now I am going to change brush. Now I'm going to go down to brush number 1. What I'm going to do here is take my brush and I'm going to pick up some white and I'm going to tone this colour down. So I'm going to make it paler because what I want to do is create just some different shading on here. So if you mix the 2 colours together, then you get a really good idea of how different your colours are. Because that's quite important as well. Sometimes if you combine the whole thing, you've got no idea whether or not it's matching or it's any different at all. And I'm just going to paint the toe of the lolly. I didn't paint down the sides of this. Now that's entirely up to you. I didn't, but you can if you want to, but I just felt that that was unnecessary. I just thought it was actually just fine like this, just to keep it on the top. And we'll paint that half as well, like so. And then I'm going to paint the stripes up here. Now I'm going to paint them all the same. They are marked out as part of the mould, so you will be able to see them like that. So I'm just going to go straight across those, then put the lines in when it's dry. So there we go. See, it's quite easy, it's not difficult, and it does come together quite quickly. I think these are quite fun to make. So if you were thinking of making a few, you'd probably be able to paint up quite a few quite quickly, I think. There we go. And then we'll just put a little bit on his hat as well. So we're going to let all of that dry. And whilst that's drying, we're going to look at the snowman. Now, I wasn't sure, but I think he's holding a brush of some description. So I took the idea that it was a brush. So if you want to change it into something else, that's up to you. But I think he's holding a broom of some description. I'm not too sure why, but he is. And I'm just going to clean my brush by taking my paintbrush and just dipping it into the cocoa butter and getting rid of the colour. There we go. All right, so let's do the white. I've still got brush number 1 on the go. Let's just turn that around a little bit. Okay, would I paint both sides? That's up to you. There isn't any design on the other side. There's just where the chocolate lollipop stick is. So that's up to you. I personally wouldn't. I would just stick with the one side because most people go, oh, isn't that lovely? They're not going to then go like this and have a look at the other side. They'll probably just think, oh, that's so sweet. So I wouldn't. I would only paint one side. It's not marked on the other side either. So all you would do is perhaps just paint the whole back of it white or pink, but I wouldn't. I would stick with leaving this as is. So let's mix up some white. Now, the way to apply the white paint to the chocolate is a little bit different from applying how we've just done the stocking. And the reason being for that is that if you put white paint on in the way I've just done with the stocking, you end up with it looking really, really streaky. It looks terrible. So I think this is a much better way of doing it. So all I'm going to do is mix up a fairly thick white paint. So by that, I mean lots and lots of dust, and not so much cocoa butter. So you'll soon get the feel for this. When you start doing it, you'll feel that, oh yes, the paint's quite thick or the paint's quite thin, and you'll see your coverage will change. So if you pile in loads and loads of cocoa butter, it gets quite thin. Then your coverage isn't so good. So you'll soon get used to it, and you can always overpaint it, you see. So with the snowman himself, what I'm going to do is I'm literally just going to dab my colour on like this. So I get this kind of textured effect whilst also covering it, but I won't get any sort of streaky brush effect. So like that. can see there. So I quite like this effect versus just sort of painting like this. So you just be a bit careful with your brush, don't damage it too much. You can go over his eyes because you'll be able to see those anyway. Hold your lolly if it's leaping about. Okay, whoop, there we go. Like so. If you go over anything, you can always paint over it again, so that doesn't matter. I'll show you how to do that as well. Show you all the mistakes. I'll make all the mistakes here, you see, live, and then you'll know what to do. That's the theory anyway. So you see my snowman is now becoming white, so that's nice. Looking like he's got lots of snow going on. And we'll just come down there. So you'll see this sort of brush thing going on here, or what I've assumed is a brush. It could be a sign, but I'm going to go brush. I'm just going to take that down to the bottom. Always move things around if you're finding that, you know, this is getting more tricky. Always turn things around. Don't try and struggle to paint in one direction. If you can't get your brush in there, turn it around and have a look at it. Actually, sometimes turning it around, you can see perhaps areas that you haven't done. That always helps as well. So always move things around. Okay, so we've lost all his definition at the moment, but that's okay. We can see it's there. And again, we can always come back over and do a second lot of white paint if we want to do that. But we'll let this dry first before we tackle that. So let's get rid of the white that's on here. Actually, no, we won't get rid of it, because what we'll do, let me turn this around, we're going to use the white on here, mix it with some brown. So I've already got white in my brush, and I'm just going to pick up a little bit of brown, and I'm going to make a colour for the handle of the broom. So that's a little sort of pale brown colour, like so. And I'm just going to put this in here, like so. So we'll make that pale to start with. Again, it's all marked out. I'm not, you know, doing this freehand. It's there for you. The chocolate has moulded this shape, so you will be able to find it. So don't worry about that. I'm going to turn it around that way, and I'm then going to mix a darker version of this. My paint palette is wobbling, which drives me crazy. There we go. I've got to hold it, so I can't stand it when it does this. Right, there we go, that's better. Okay, so I mix up a darker brown, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this down up here, and I'm going to leave this to dry. I'm going to show you this technique then for being able to turn this into a brush, like so. That's the top of his hat there, so just going to put that in like so. So you could always do a sign or something else if you didn't want to do a brush, anything really. I just thought it was a bit fun. I do quite like painting these. There we go. All right, we'll turn it back round that way. There we go. And finish doing it upside down. Okay, right, now we've let most of it dry, so we can now start doing some of the detail on here. So let's get rid of some of these colours on my brush, and we're going to switch over to the 0 brush that I've got, which is this one here. Okay, so it's quite a nice fine brush. There is a finer brush on top of this one, which is a 00. And that one is really good. If you're finding this quite tricky, there is a 00 brush as well. So hopefully there's a brush there that can help everybody rather than struggle with this. So let's put some detail on this. So we're going to mix up some black. So I'm going to just take a little bit of black and some of the cocoa butter. Note also as well, I always mix my colours away from the main bulk of dust. We don't pile it all in and create one paint, because you can go back and adjust your own paint then just by going backwards and forwards into the dust, and you'll soon realise how much you then need. So this brush is very thin, and in order to get it really super thin, the top of the paintbrush needs to be facing the ceiling, and that's like that, you see. Okay, so that's how you need to paint. So for this I decided that I would put some sort of stitching lines on there. So all I'm going to do is hold my brush, we'll do this one first, upright, and I'm literally, didn't I do a line? Yes I did. So I'm going to paint a line down here first. Again, there is a slight dent in the chocolate where it's been in the mould. So again, you're not making it up, it is all there. And you can just bring your brush down there. You'll kind of feel it going along the line where it actually is. So you'll be able to feel the brush going into the dent. If I try and find an original one, here we go. So if I show you on here, you can see there's an actual dent there. So if I run my finger across there, you can actually see it. And once your brush hits there, you just follow it round. So again, you're not making it up. It is actually sort of all there for you. And then we'll do this one as well. Can't breathe though, that's the only thing. Okay, like so. Again, if you haven't quite covered it all, you can always go back and just kind of do it again. There we go. And then we're going to put some stitching on here. So we're going to go across here like that. Just do some little lines. So you can vary these colours. I went pink and white because it's pink and white week for me. I decided I'd do a themed coloured week this week. So pink and white was my cake on Tuesday night. So pink and white it is again this morning. So that's why I've done this colour. But you can do these in any colour you like. So if you want to do a red stocking or a blue one or whatever it is, or you could paint different ones up for family members. You could write mum, dad, name, whatever you want on the stocking as well. So, you know, there's lots of possibility with this. Yep, someone's just said look good in some of the stitching colours in something like gold or silver. So yeah, there's all sorts of different options with this, so you can sort of go to town with this. You also don't have to do this level of detail. If you sort of think, actually, do you know what, that's enough, I don't need to do any more, that's fine. But I actually quite enjoy, as most people know, painting things in high detail. So for me, I'm quite happy sitting here just sort of adding to it. So now on this lolly here, let me go back to the original one. You can see here there's the lines there. There's 3 lines there. They are quite small to see, but there are 3 lines. So I'm going to paint those in. Again, with my zero brush, I'm going to just hold it still. And I'm just going to start with my brush at this end and just go straight across like this. Now, if you are somebody who's got a bit of a wobbly hand, keep your wrist on the table. That helps as well. So you can sort of put your wrist down, hold your paintbrush up, and then just move across like that. Might actually help if I had some paint on it, of course. That would solve the problem. Come on, let's put some paint on here. So if you find that you need to help yourself a little bit, you can always use the table to steady your hand. Ideally, take a deep breath before you do it. Hope that you're not live on camera when you're doing it as well. There you go. Like that. One more. So you don't have to do these. You could do them in a different colour. Some of the luster colours maybe. Now if you make a mistake and you think, oh, that line is a little bit sort of too thick, if you take your scriber, you can just scratch back any details. So if you wanted to say, oh, that line is just millimetres too thick, use a scriber. It's really, really good. And you will be able to just take off any small details that you want to. So scribe is a really good tool for correcting. You can't do huge amounts, you know, you can't sort of score out the whole thing, but it will help you to just correct sort of little lines and things. So it's always a good tool to have. Right, let's move up the snowman a little bit. So I'm actually not going to repaint him. I'm actually quite happy with him the way he is this morning. So I'm going to just take my brush and I'm just going to paint his little buttons on here. Again, these are all marked on for you in this mould. You'll be able to see them because they're little tiny dents. I'll just go around like so. And then we're going to do his eyes. Again, they are marked for you. I may speak less for the moment whilst I do this bit. And another one there. So I'm just holding my brush upright and just kind of swirling round and round inside the little dent that we've got for the snowman. There we go. And then his mouth, which also is a little dent here, so you're not making anything up. But it would be nice if he was quite, you know, quite light, not make it too heavy in detail. the face is everything. To be perfectly honest with you, you could be painting the most beautiful stocking and everything. If the snowman's face isn't right, it's going to be more difficult for you. So personally, I would spend as much time as you can getting that face as pretty as you can. So right, we're now going to do the hat. So we're going to go across like so. Like that. Oh, there we go. So I'm just reading a comment about molds. So my molds are on my website. There are snowmen and Christmas trees and goodness knows what else, reindeers, and they are available on their own. Yes, thank you very much, Ellen. Yes, they are available on their own. You don't have to buy chocolate with them. So if you just want to buy the molds, they are there. They're about £4.50 each. We've got a delay on the stars at the moment. We're just waiting for the star one to come back in again. So if anybody has got an outstanding order, I have contacted most people. So we're just waiting for that to come in. It should be in any day. And please bear with the postage. I don't know what's happening with the postage, but we have got some very odd things going on. We have got post that's arriving very quickly and post that's taking forever. So even in the UK, so please just bear with it. It is the Royal Mail. We are in lockdown and I'm sure that they're doing the best they possibly can, but I think it is very busy at this time. Let me go up there. So I'm just going to go up the side of his hat as well. Just come along there. Like that. And then across here. So again, you know, you could add your own twist to this. So if you wanted to put a little bit of holly on his hat maybe, or extra bits of snow, so you could paint some snow on there. You could do that if you wanted to. So there's always lots of things you can do. You aren't stuck with just having it as is. And then what we're going to do here, because the snowman is sort of moulded into one a little bit, we're going to just put a tiny bit of grey under his chin and around his arms, just so that they kind of split up a little bit, but it will be a very tiny amount. So I've still got black on my brush, so I'm just going to pick up a little bit of white and just mix up a pale grey colour. He is cute, isn't he? I loved doing this, and I can see myself sitting in the next few days painting a load of these in different colours to show you what it does, because it is just so lovely. I'm actually going to try a reindeer later. I'm going to try a white reindeer with a pink nose and see how we get on with that, because we did the reindeer one the other week. So right, so with this grey, which is quite pale, the underside of his chin is there, so I'm just literally going to put a dot of colour along there, like so. So nothing too harsh. I'm going to get my brush 1 that I had from earlier that's clean and just blend it in a little bit, just so it doesn't become a line, like so. And then I'm just going to take some of the colour. Now again, you can just about see it around his hand. It's just to kind of split them up a bit, and again just blend it in. Just trying to avoid lines more than anything else. There's another one there, and it is an actual indent. As I said, you know, I'm not making this up. It is indented in the chocolate, so you will be able to just follow it simply. It's painting by numbers, literally painting by numbers. I just thought, even on a cake, this stood in the top with Merry Christmas next to it would look lovely. You know, if you know one of those signs that stand up that say Merry Christmas, and you have one of these either side of it, I just thought that would be so good. So it's different, and I'm trying to look at Christmas slightly differently this year, as we've had some different designs coming out. So rather than sort of go traditional route, have a look at some of the other ways we can do Christmas. So there we go, a little bit of, you see the difference that makes. It's very different. You can suddenly see that actually, oh, there's his neck, there's his arms and all that sort of thing. So it makes a bit more sense there. Now let's turn this around And I'm going to show you what to do with the brush. We're going to do this with the scriber. So what we'd like to see here is really some bristles. So I'm going to take my scriber and I'm literally going to scratch out. I'm going to have to hold it though because it's moving around. Hold on. I'm going to turn it around that way. I'm going to have to do it backwards. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scriber and I'm going to scratch this. And what this is going to do is create the look of a brush. I will hold it up so you can see it when I've done it. Because what it's doing is actually removing some of the chocolate. So it's going to give you a bit of texture. It's a really good little trick, this. All right, I'm going to hold that up so you can see it. Can you see that? The way we'll go in a bit further. There we go. You can see I've scratched on the broom and now it looks like an actual brush rather than a piece of flat painting, and that's really important. You don't want to be just doing a really flat paint. If you can do something like that as well, that's going to make a bit more sense to you. I'm also just going to trim his eye back a little bit because I've gone over a little bit there. So again, I can just take my scriber and just scratch off a little bit of that paint that I put down before. So his eyes are the same size. There we go, look at that. You see, that's lovely and easy, isn't it? And then what we'll do is we will add a little bit more detail. And where's my brush? We're going to clean up the zero brush and we're going to paint a few snowflakes on him, on his stocking. So again, you can use your own twist here. You can do holly, you can do spots, you could do stripes, you can do anything you like, but I'm going to do snowflakes. So I'm going to mix up some white. Let me turn this round again. There we go. So if you do want to have a go at this mould, there's 4 snowmen per mould. So you can do 4 at a time. I say, I think they're either, I mean, also you could have them, imagine on Christmas Day, if you're having people round, let's say we're able to do that, you could have them actually on their place setting and you could write their name. So as they sat down to dinner, there would be a little lolly there. Imagine if, you know, if you have kids, they would love that. Just write their name on there. And you could colour coordinate them as well. So they would be something really quite smart to have on the plate, I think. So there's another little idea for you there. We could put some bags over them, pop them in crackers or something. Right, so let's take hold of this paintbrush. It's got some white paint on it with a zero brush. And I'm just going to hold this like so, and I'm going to paint my snowflake. So one longer line down, one longer line going across, and then 2 shorter ones in the middle, like so. Let's do that again. Now you can vary these, so you don't have to do them all the same size. You can do some mini versions as well. I always think they're better if they're varied in size, so it just looks more realistic than having them all the same size. But because the pink paint is dry, then when you paint the white on top, it won't then pick up the pink underneath, because if the pink paint is still wet and then you paint white over the top, the white will turn pink. So this is why when I paint things, I do them in this sort of strange order, is for this benefit, is to move this around to make sure that we get the true colour of white, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I think my girls would love this. They'd eaten that. I tell you what, they'd have eaten them before I've even sat down. But you know what? I might do them myself this Christmas, because I'm hoping I might get to see my mum and dad, which would be good. And then I can paint some up with dad and mum and that on it, can't I? Charlotte and Kelly. And then you can always put a little one on his hat if you wanted to put a little snowflake on his hat. So again, you can just cross like that. Even if it crosses over the black line, that's absolutely fine. You don't need to worry about that. There you go, and it matches then, doesn't it? That's good. And I'm just, where I scratched that paint off earlier, I can just dab a little bit more white in there as well, just to kind of cover that bit up there. And also a tiny little dot in his eye always makes them look brighter. So I'm just going to put the tiniest of dot in here, and I will pick this up because I do know it's quite difficult to see when you're on camera, so I will pick it up and you can have a little look. and see what's going on there. Again, I just clipped that earlier, so if I'm being particularly fussy, I could just paint over that black. White's really good for kind of yeah, rubbing out any mistakes. So if you make a mistake with cocoa butter painting, white is your friend, because what you're going to do is just paint straight over the top of it, let it dry, and then have another go. There are rarely many things that you can't do that with cocoa butter painting. The only time it doesn't apply is if you're doing like skin tone, because otherwise it tends to look like the person's got really caked in makeup on. So not really advisable for skin tone, but certainly okay for the odd error here and there, no problem at all. So there you go, look, you can just do that and it covers up all sorts. But okay, so I'm going to pick this up now so you can see it. There we go. So yes, someone's just said you can make these in advance. There we go. So if you wanted to make these for Christmas Day, for example, you could easily do these at least a week before, if not more, and you can just pop them in a bag. So you could have them all laid out and pop them in a bag ready to go. And then on Christmas Day, you can get them out, but you could paint different names on them and have them on the plate, all sorts of things. So they're fairly easy and quick to do. I know I've spent a lot of time doing this, but that's to show you it all step by step, rather than just sort of racing through it. I have broken this down so you can see how easy it is. But when you look at the original mould, I just think it's nicer just to kind of take it to the next level and change it to something else. And also, again, with colours, the opportunity to do lots and lots of different colours with this. And over the next few days, I will paint up a few more and put them on my Instagram page so you can see what they look like. So I might do a red one and a green one, and I'll put some holly on, and I'll customize a few for you over the next few days so you can have a little look. That's something for me to sit and do. But I did want to stick with my pink and white theme today, and it's a color I think that you wouldn't necessarily associate with Christmas, and it is quite nice to actually think about this and do something a little bit different. It is a huge difference, isn't it? And it doesn't take that long to do. And imagine if you were doing sort of, let's say you've got to do 6. Let's assume we're still on the number 6. You could paint all the stockings in one go, then you paint all the snowman, and then you paint all the hats, and you would get them done really quickly. And then you can do your detail and write your words and various things on there. And maybe if you aren't going to make it to someone's house Christmas Day this year, you could always make them and drop them round, so they could have them on Christmas Day as well. So also, you know, something else you could do there. So they are really cute. They're so lovely. I just love these. They're just so much fun. And also as well, there is a reindeer. We know there's a reindeer mold. I did it on a Christmas tree as well, just so you could have a look here. So I have got a little Christmas tree mold here. There we go. And I painted that pink as well. So it's just a Christmas tree. Let me move this out of the way so you can see that, because otherwise it all blurs into one. So this is a little Christmas tree chocolate lolly. So again, this is what it looks like when it came out of the mold, and this is what it looks like when I painted it pink. So again, you can paint them green, or and paint the presents different colours. You can do whatever baubles you like, all sorts of different things. The only thing I would say if you're doing coloured baubles is if you've painted your tree green, you'll then need to paint your baubles white, wait for them to dry, then paint them a colour. Because otherwise you'll find that if you try and paint, say, red on top of dark green, you're not going to be able to see it. It's going to blend into the background. It's not going to look very good. But the Christmas trees, where's the mould for the Christmas trees? I had it earlier. I think there's about 5 or 6. Oh, there it is. 1, 2, 3. What's that many of that? 6 or 5 or 6 trees per mould. So again, you can sort of do these quite quickly, make them in advance, store them away from any heat, any light and any smell, and anything you made chocolate wise will then last right through to Christmas. And you can then get these out Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, whatever it is that you want to do with them, and just have them as place settings if you want. I just think they're a bit different. Or you could pop them in a dessert, couldn't you? How about, oh yeah, Christmas Eve treat boxes. There you go. Maureen's got a good idea here, because that seems to be the big thing at the moment, isn't it? All these treat boxes everywhere. So yeah, if you wanted to pop these in there, they would be brilliant. They would certainly customise it for sure, wouldn't they? Imagine you've got truffles, a little cake maybe, and a couple of painted lollies, all sorts of things you could do. So I just think they're a little bit different, and they are, I think, very appealing anyway. So, and I will take a picture and pop it on my Instagram so you can see it. There is one on there already this morning, so you'll find it on there. There is my Instagram. I'll put that up now. So when I'm organised, which is better recently, I have to say. I'm not too bad. I do put up pictures on my Instagram of what I'm planning to demonstrate on here. So if you have a look, you'll see it and go, oh, actually, do you know what? I might tune in for that one because I quite like the look of that. So there are different things that I put up on there that you can have a look at. So for those that missed the start, this is my new cake painting course that is on offer today and until Monday. So this is the Christmas, I'm going to take this down, actually can't see it with that banner up, can you? The Christmas tree bauble painting class. I'm going to just turn this around like this so you can see it. So it's a full 360-degree paint on a cake, and it's up for £15 today as an online cake painting class. It will go back to £25 after Monday. So you've got Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. You've got 5 days before it goes back up to £25. It's all step by step. You don't have to paint just white baubles. You can do lots of different colours as well. You can customise it, like my tree that I'm always talking about. You can change that as well, and also paint them on cupcakes. And I'm going to be doing that in the next few days as well, just to put some pictures up on there so that you can see exactly what it looks like. There is a little video on YouTube as well of this thing just spinning so you can see what it looks like, but I'm spinning it for you, so you're getting a good look at it anyway. So hopefully you'll get a really good view of everything that's on there. So thank you very much for joining me this morning. I will be back on Tuesday at 11:30 on Sugar and Crumbs with another themed week, but I haven't decided yet, so I've got to think about it over the weekend. I have to consult Kelly, and then we can decide what we're going to be doing next week. But I think it potentially might be something about Christmas trees next week, because we could do a bit more on Christmas trees. We'll see how we go. So that's the plan potentially at the moment. But you know, I'll probably change my mind over the weekend, but I'm sure we'll come up with something. If you need any more further information, that's where I am. It's tracyscakes.co.uk, which includes the molds, the snowman mold, the tree mold, and the bauble painting class as well, which is available until Monday. I had to think about that for a minute, didn't I? What day of the week even is it? It's all blurring into one, is it? Is it the weekend? No, it's Thursday. Yeah, it's all over the place at the moment, but this one is available. And once you bought the class, it's your class forever. So you can watch it as many times as you like. So if you do it this Christmas, great. If you don't do it this Christmas, you do it next Christmas, can't you? You can do it whenever you like, and you can follow it along that way. So thank you very much for tuning in, and especially here, it's pouring with rain here, so it's nice to be in here doing a bit of demonstrating rather than being out there and all that horrible rain. And I will see you all next week on Sugar and Crumbs, so take care, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.